Hello, class. Um, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to do the second floor. We're going to do it very similar to the way we did the first floor, except for this roof is going to cause a bit of a problem. And I sort of know this because, as you saw me overwrite, I already did this once, and so I know what happens is when you do the second floor, you're going to end up cutting through the roof, and it's going to look sort of weird. So there's a way to address that. Now you get the benefit of having me tell you to sort of watch out for this and don't make the mistake the first time. If you see it, you can always come back and solve the problem the way I'm going to do it, which is actually turn off part of the model and do a section cut. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just like when I did the first floor, I have to reverse this section cut, because what I want is I want this line here to be able to be the bottom part of my second floor. But the thing that's going to happen when I cut is I'm going to have this issue of having the roof get in the way of the drawing. So I'm going to turn that off before I do anything. So I'm going to go to my move tool and I'm going to select on this roof. You can sort of see it's selected. And when I go to 3D, we see that I got a light gray square here that says mesh 1 group 2. At least that's what it says in mine. Yours is going to say a different set of meshes, but nonetheless that's going to be your roof, and if you eyeball it you can see it turns off. And so now we can sort of work. And I'm going to actually do the same thing with the joists or the beams running through here. So I'm going to select something, and it might take a click or two to select one of those guys, and then I'm going to turn it off. Turn that guy off. I think some of these I broke into pieces, so I'm just going to make sure all of those elements are turned off in this one, so that way when I do the section cut the right way around, they won't be blocking my second floor. So there we go. So I've turned it off. Now again, this is just going to be a base, so I'm going to select everything and copy, and I'm going to paste it into my sort of overlay file. You don't have to render this layer because it's just going to be for cutting purposes. And so this time you might need it might not snap because they don't have the roof in there, so it's not matching exactly. So I might have to sort of visually pick a corner like this chimney and make sure it's just sort of aligning correctly. I think that should work pretty well. I'm going to come back into here, and I'm going to go back to 3D. This is my file with my working 3D model. 3D. I'm going to go to Scene, and I'm going to flip it back around again, and it's going to show me the first floor cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump this guy up to my second floor. So I'm going to come all the way up to here. We can see as I rise even though I've turned the eyeball off, it's still affecting the section cut. So you can see as I pull it up, it still has the angle of the roof right here. Right, so I don't want to see that angle. So I think something like +10 is going to be below the angle of the roof, and we'll get a good floor. In my case, I don't see the angle of the roof. I see the built-in desks and the windows and the tops of the roofs of what's happening on the first floor plan. So this is a pretty good location. So this is going to be a keeper. So you want to render this guy before moving on. I'm not going to render it just to save time, so I'm going to select everything and copy it. And once yours is rendered, you'll copy yours, and you'll come over to this file, and you'll paste him in, just like you've done in the past. And you'll sort of move this into place. Oops, I forgot to copy mine. So I was like, what's going on here? Sorry about that. I just have to redo this. I think I just forgot to hit the Control-C because that's the same file I just copied. So make sure I redo it again. Come over here, Control-A. Can't copy layers. Okay, what's going on here? Sometimes that happens because I think I'm selected on something that's hidden, so it doesn't want to select it. So I'm going to go to 3D. Let me go to Scene. Make sure nothing's selected. Control-A, Control-C. Yep, that's all that happened. So I should have it copied there. There we go. That's the one I want. And I'll move this into place. Make sure it's snapped into place and looking good. Looks good there. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the first floor. I'm going to come down to the one I did previous to this last one. Control-click to select that area. And it looks like I might have to do some cleanup work here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select inverse this around. And what's going to do is it's going to delete everything that's out here. But the reality is I'm going to also want to keep this guy. So I'm going to go to my marquee tool and say subtract from selection set, which is this one here. So that will remove that area in that location. And I can then hit delete, Control D to deselect, and it should be able to move My second floor down, it's looking pretty good, right? Fits right up there. So I'm going to move that just sort of tight in here again, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in the next video at doing the roof. We'll see how it looks. I'm not sure how it's going to look. If it looks good, I'll present the video. If not, I'll skip that video and jump in with sort of finalizing the Axon and sort of reorganizing this. But this is looking good. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just delete that layer here. That's just a guide layer. So give that a delete, and I'll end this video and move on.